All right, everybody, welcome back. This is gonna be a super easy week. Uh, Short video, maybe. This week we're gonna talk about exceptions mostly. There'll be some other stuff in your reading, but mostly we're talking about exceptions. One lab, um, one Python or PyCharm assignment, and the Module 2 test, Part 2, Module 2. Those are your assignments for the week. Um, we're just going to touch on error catching. Um, So checking for errors in your code, or more like preventing your program from being used in a manner that you did not intend it to be used. And what I mean by that is you're going to write some programs. If you decide to write programs, you're going to write some, and then as soon as you give that program to somebody else to run, they're going to break it. If you decide to make something and turn it into an executable and hand it out to a bunch of people because it does something cool that everybody can use, they're going to find a way to break it and make it not work and do stuff it wasn't intended to do. It's the nature of the beast. So we're gonna cover a few errors. And we want to do some simple stuff like x equals. We're gonna make the integer input. Enter a number, right? And then all we want to do is print that number. Print x. Super simple, right? I run this, I enter a number, and I hit enter, and it prints that number. Super simple. Well, what if somebody, you say enter a number, and they say 10? It's a number, technically. You're going to get an error. This is a value error because it was expecting an integer, but they typed in 10 anyway. That is one error that you may see. Another error that you may see is, let's say, y equals x. No, let's say y equals 10 divided by x. And you're going to see this a lot in the code, in your reading and your um, lesson in the Networking Academy. They hit on this a lot. I don't know why, but if I run this and we enter a number, we'll say 10. 10 divided by 10. That equals, oh, we're still printing x. I got to print y. Let's try that again. Run it. 10 divided by 10 is 1. Okay, great. That works. Well, what if somebody enters 0? You get an error because you can't divide by error, and that's a 0 division error. Again, they harp on that in the in lessons a lot. You can't divide by 0. Make sure your programs can't divide by 0, or it throws an error, asks them for some other input. In this case, we can do. We're going to do a try and accept, and that's what this chapter is all about, or this portion of the chapter. Try and accept. These are error catching. So, let's try this. See what happens when I do this. Enter a number. 10 divided by 2, and that's 5. Perfect. There was something else I wanted to show you. I don't remember what it was. So we're going to just type try here, semicolon. In that try, we are going to have our stuff. It's going to do the stuff. And if something happens, let's say there's a value error. We want it to do something else. We got this value error when they entered the 10. So if I run this and someone types in 10, it says please enter digits instead of trying to do anything, because it threw that value error. We caught it, and then we told it to do something in case there was that error. So it doesn't just blank out the screen, kill the program. We catch the error and tell it please enter digits. Obviously, wrap this in a loop and write it again so they enter more digits. We still haven't accounted for the 0, dividing by 0. So we can put in another except in here. Zero division error. Yeah. 0 division error. Print. You cannot divide by 0. And now when I try to divide by 0, it catches that error and then prints it out. Some other you don't have to do this. Let's say I need some more screen real estate here. Let's say let's do this. I am going to copy and paste because I'm lazy. So you're going to take in two numbers here, and then we're going to do x divided by y. Is that a capital Y? I keep hitting the shift button, and I'm not sure if these are the same variables or not. And then we're going to print well, let's do total. No, we'll just leave it there. Why do I have errors under that? Maybe because I'm going to try still. Oh, that's minus. That's why. Equals. All right, so if I run this, enter a number 5. Well, let's do 10. 2. It's going to be 10 divided by 2. And it's 5. So it works. And if we do run it again, 10 divided by 0, you cannot divide by 0. So we didn't have to specify that the error thrown was going to be that 0 division error. And if we go back in here and we do 10, and then somebody types in 2, it's still going to say cannot divide by 0, even though that is not the error that was thrown. We just put this except in here with no conditions. So if we put the 0 division error here and run this again, 10, somebody types in 2, you get, it didn't catch that error because it wasn't specified in the except. So you want to put in as many, like if you want something specific to happen if they try to divide by 0, and something else to happen if they do, if they try and type something in, you need to specify it out. But if you're just doing a general error exception, or trying to catch that error, then you can just use the except and put in what you want to happen. And that is really all you need to know. There are a couple of other errors you may or may not see. You will see an index error. Now you'll see an index error if you try to print, like if you have a list. Let's try this. So you have a list here with 7, wait a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have 0 through 5 indexes, right? And here, I gotta clear this all out. Now we want to try to print it. Try and print X6, right? Index error. If there's an index error, I'm going to print let's do this first. If I print index 5, it prints the 6. Remember, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6 is this here. But if I try and print out of that index, print it, it'll throw an error, and that index does not exist. So that's an index error. You will see it a lot when you start working with lists and doing your own thing. You're saying you're trying to reference an index that doesn't exist. You might see an import error. If you're doing an import of a script or something and it is not in the same directory or close to, if Python doesn't know where to find it, you'll get an import error. You may get key errors, and that's later on we'll talk about dictionaries, but a dictionary it's kind of like a list, but each item in the list has a key and a value. And if there's no key or you reference a key that doesn't exist, you'll get a key error. You may see some of those. And then, of course, if you try to print, if you try to print a variable, if you reference a variable in any manner that does not exist, you'll get this name error variable. And it's just it tells you, hey, this variable is not defined. So I'm trying to print B, and I never told it what B was. Those are the main. I've covered all the main errors that you will see, and you'll probably see some one-offs and some other things that I didn't discuss here. There's several others in the book. I think they're pretty rare. I guess that depends on what you're doing, but that is the lesson. That is it. We're just talking about error catching. Now you will have, you're going to do pretty much the same thing in your assignments this week. Just remember that dividing by 0 error and the text error, and that should get you through the homework fairly simple. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.